Because like, me specifically, as a guy, the innate urge to, not to have children, but to just like, like engage in some sort of like sexual activity is very strong. The drive and the desire to like, to sleep around or whatever, it's very much present. It's there all the time, every single day, 24/7, 365 days a year. It's always there. And you can try and ignore it as much as you want, but it's literally like what keeps you going. You don't think about it all the time, but like consciously or subconsciously, but like it's literally what it's what's driving you. It's like you thought you wanted to like, oh, you think you're in love or something like that, and like, oh my gosh, like I like, I just want, or like, no, you're not. Or you think like, oh, that girl's really hot, like I just want to sleep with her. Like, yeah, sure, and it's gonna feel really good for a second, but the thing is like, the only reason you're thinking like that is because your brain is fooling you into trying to get you to have a kid. Your brain is fooling you on a constant, like, all the time. It's constantly beating you. And it's kind of like a losing game. Like, what? Trying to like battle nature. They're like, oh, like nature is like one of the strongest forces ever, or something like that, right? So like, you can't really beat that. You're gonna lose to your nature like almost every time. But the thing is like the alternative, like the exact opposite of like being the kind of person that just like does all that stuff, is you're like, oh, I'm celibate now. Like, do you want to be a monk? Do you want to just like live like a life like that? Does that sound appealing to you? Like, would you want that to be your life for like the rest of your life? You're just like, I'm just gonna like, okay, I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna like go to the I'm just like never gonna do that ever again. Do you have that much self-control? There's this like, I'm sure many of you like are familiar with like No Nut November. How many people do you know that have actually made it throughout the whole month? And how many people do you know that have gone beyond that month? How many people do you know? How many people can you think of that just like don't, they just don't? Not that many people. And I'll tell you why. Because it's really difficult. It's almost impossible. It's, don't get me wrong, it's possible, but like, you will be challenged. You will be challenged. It's not gonna be easy. And I'm not really I'm not like recommending it to you, because frankly, like, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could just like stop. Like, I don't think I could just be like, oh, today is gonna be like the last day like I'm ever gonna like do anything like that ever again. Like, I'm just like not gonna ever have like a sexual thought. I'm just like, oh, I'm like Mr. like high vibrational now. No. Because frankly, that sounds really stupid. That sounds really fucking dumb. But there's no in between. You just like, you either take the risk or you play it like way too safe, and even that's like kind of a risk, because like anytime I've been like, oh, I'm doing so good. I went like freaking like Oh, I think, to be honest with you, like longest I ever did that for was like 3 months, and my God, like when I like finally like broke that seal, it almost killed me. Like I was like, holy shit, what just happened? It's like imagine like if you like like had your life savings, and then you just like went to a casino and lost it all in like one night. That it's like kind of the same feeling. You're like, wow, that's a lot. Like it's all gone now. I think women experience a similar phenomenon. It's called like postpartum depression. It's probably not to the same. It's not nearly to the same extent. But then again, like I don't think we can really make a comparison, like at least like a scientific, like like a with like data or whatever, so that's like accurately charted. But like it's kind of the same idea. Like if you look into a lot of like the spirituality stuff, like esoteric stuff, like you're gonna be like, oh, like you're holding on to your life force, because it's literally that's how you create life. It's your life force, and you're holding on to it. Not to say that if you like like jerk off 10 times a day that you're gonna die. Like you're not gonna die if you jerk off 10 times a day, but I tell you what, you're not gonna be as motivated to do stuff. You're gonna feel very like complacent. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm done. I am now complete. I have now completed. You're fooling your brain into being like, yeah, I've reproduced. And it's like, oh, okay, good job. Good job, human. You did your job. You did it. You've passed on your genes. But no, you haven't. You probably just shot it into like a toilet or a sock or into a tissue. Or, I don't know, some girl you met at a bar. Or some girl you found from like Tinder or something. Wow. What an achievement. And honestly, like the thing is like it shouldn't even be like all that difficult. But I feel like it is, because I know it is for me. And I know that it has been for a lot of people that I've known and that I've met. But I think more people do actually just like, despite what I've said about the fact that like, all that shit is fake, and like if you do decide that you want to like, engage in this like weird experience, or like some people will call it a game, if you will. I'm gonna say it's an experience. Life is an experience, but for sure. But if you choose to continue experiencing life, you're gonna have to make a lot of decisions. And frankly, you're also gonna have to deal with a lot of stupid stuff. A lot of really upsetting nonsense. And what people are gonna tell you is that like, oh, like don't feel things, and like don't get attached to stuff, and learn to let go, and like don't take things so seriously. But the thing is like, anyone who says that stuff to you is like, they take it seriously. Everybody takes themselves seriously, regardless of whether they act like it or not. Because if you didn't take yourself seriously, you wouldn't ever like need to like, like do anything. You would just like I don't know, never have, like, if you were like laying down or standing up, you would just stay there. You wouldn't ever need to move. You wouldn't ever need to act, think, or do or achieve anything. If you didn't take anything seriously, you just wouldn't have to do anything. You'd be complete content, exactly as you were, where you were, and you'd never have to change or do